new here or not, welcome to my channel. I have been really bad at posting on here lately, but it is such a beautiful day. I have a little pup friend here today. Really excited to have him. And I get a lot of questions on kind of all my platforms. There's plants in the way, but that's pretty on par. Just about being a medium, past lives in general, anything. And I kind of just wanted to answer some questions about recently asked questions and just talk about how things are. It's my favorite thing to do. It's why I started this channel. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Also, I hope you're doing well. Let's take a moment to have a little bit of Reiki sent back and forth for a positive day. Deep breath. Good. No matter where your day has gone so far, good, bad, whatever it is, release all of it, because this is a time that you are giving yourself for relaxing, for learning, for curiosity, for growing, whatever. Take a deep breath. Just releasing what no longer serves you. Don't worry. Okay. You're doing good. Doing real good. Okay. So, one of the first questions that I guess I get often would be, he's got questions. Okay, no, just put your ass in the camera, it's all right. So one of the first questions is, how do you embrace these abilities, and is it something that everybody has to know when they're born? And the thing is, doubt is crazy. So these are abilities, it's like a muscle, like anything else that you grow. So it doesn't mean just because you don't have them right now or you didn't have them when you were younger that you aren't able or capable to embrace these abilities and grow them. I am a firm believer, and some psychics agree, some psychics don't, but I am a firm believer that everybody receives psychic information in a certain way. And like anything, it's a muscle that you just have to embrace, you have to focus on, you have to grow. So I am a firm believer that anybody can embrace these. It's just going to take understanding how you receive that information and being open to something that might be a little uncomfortable. Also, a part that plays into that is severe denial. I was born with these abilities and I was really open to them when I was younger, and then for years, whether you feel crazy, whether you feel like it's not, if society tells you it's not real and you get in your head, or whether I flat out just didn't want them and I didn't want to admit that they were there, and it took me a really long time to come to terms and to really open up what it is that I'm embracing now. And it really hurt my mental health for a really long time, but I didn't fully understand. So this is really common, and I hear this from a lot of people. Some psychics are so lucky and wonderful to be awoken to them and to never subdue them, and that is absolutely wonderful, but every journey is valid and everybody goes through these things in a different way. So that is how I answered that question. The second question is, as a psychic, should you read for your family and should you read for yourself? I have read for family. Some psychics say, absolutely not, that's crazy, why would you do that? As long as you can go into it with the intention of, we have a visitor, of the intention of being really taking the veil off of that, you know, this person, and really being open to whatever it is that they're meant to hear for their highest good, taking your biases away. It's harder to read for family, I will say, and people you know, but it's not impossible. And I don't think it's you shouldn't do it. I think it's just personal preference, honestly. He likes hugs. As for yourself, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Psychics need their own psychic, because it's really hard to read for yourself. You're way too biased when it comes to yourself, and it'll almost feel like the flow has blocked. And when you're reading, that's why I always say, if you are a new psychic trying to embrace these abilities, read for other people. You know what one of my tips is? If you don't want to read for strangers or famous people, because that feels weird, and consent is big in this, so I completely get it. Start watching a show. Watch it episode 1. Don't research the show. Don't look up the show. Don't know where the character goes. Pick one character, pull tarot for them, go into a session and try and get information about where they're at, what they're going to go through, or whatever it is, you can just get creative with it, because this is a character on TV that their story does unfold in front of you. And then as you watch, you can kind of test certain things if you feel the need to test yourself, which I don't think you should ever test yourself. But a lot of when you embrace this is building confidence and trust in yourself. Now, one of the only real ways to do that is to just read for people, anybody's. Like, you could look at your friends or maybe even strangers and say, hey, this is something I'm practicing. Is it okay if maybe if you're open to it, I give you a reading? And that's kind of the way, and I was so horrified to do that. I had psychics tell me that in the beginning, but it really helped me, and I would not be here if it wasn't for that. I will be completely honest. Okay, the next thing. This is a question about past lives. How do you know how many past lives you've had? Well, that's really hard. / can you just be somebody who has one past life? The thing about past lives is, I don't believe that energy can be created or destroyed. So you could be a new soul for Earth, but I don't believe that you could just be a new soul never incarnated anywhere. Either you're incarnated as a spirit guide in another dimension, anywhere else that isn't Earth, and now this might be your first earthly incarnation. But a lot of times when I tap into people's past lives and they say, I think I'm a new soul, or I've been told I'm a new soul, that really means that you're just a new Earth soul. It doesn't mean that your soul hasn't been incarnating other places or in another form in another place, because I've yet to meet a new soul from anywhere, which is really interesting. Again, I'm open. I don't know everything, so I'm excited, but this is just not something that I found. And I do believe when they say new souls, they mean new earthly souls. Maybe you haven't had a lot of incarnations on Earth, because when I tap into people and do past life readings, for the most part, 2 to 3 lifetimes come up, but we have all had hundreds, if not thousands of incarnations. Honestly, that is what I've seen when I've tapped into 9 out of 10 people's lives. It's hundreds. Other people have had way more, whether they be on Earth or not. So the ones that come up are the ones that you need to hear on a subconscious level, where you're at in your life right now, to release certain subconscious blocks. So a lot of people ask about past lives. Do you look the same? A lot of people believe that you look just like you do in this life in past incarnations. That's not the case, because you're not always the same look, the same ethnicity, the same body type. You're not even always a woman or a man or whatever you are in this life. It's so vastly changing, because part of coming down to Earth is to come together to experience things in different countries and different ethnicities and different social statuses, to truly understand what it is like to be a human from every retrospect, from every angle. So no, you are not always looking the same. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't look the same in a couple different lives, because you do choose what you look like when you do choose to incarnate. But for the most part, when I look into people's past incarnations, they look like everything. They've been every different type of person, background, place, gender, whatever it is. And that's what I think is like incredibly beautiful about it. And that's why I don't get when people try and pull apart by differences and, oh, I'm over here and you're over here and we're different. We've all been everything. We're all one. It's time to stop spreading apart and bring together. I'm a firm believer in that. And what I do and seeing what I do has just affirmed that, like, times 10. Do you always incarnate into your family? This is a big one. Like what I just answered, you're not always in the same family lineage. You could be multiple things. However, that doesn't mean that you're not incarnated with your soul family. However, a lot of people ask about if you're always with the same people in every life. You're always kind of incarnated together. However, not everybody in your soul family might choose to incarnate on Earth at the same time. Some people will choose to stay back. Maybe they were a really big part of your life in your past incarnation. They might choose to say, hey, you're incarnating in this next life. I'm going to act as a spirit guide, because everything's connected. The lessons you learn affect them. The lessons they learn affect you, and it heals all of us and in your whole soul family. That's really what soul family is. It is a group of souls that have incarnated together hundreds of times, who are committed to helping like us grow on a soul level, which is so incredibly beautiful and so supportive and wonderful. And I'm telling you, the more I learn, the more beautiful it is. Okay, so a lot of people ask about seeing spirits. Now, if you see spirits around, do you always see one that needs your help? Not in my experience, and a lot of other psychics I've talked about haven't had that experience as well. Again, I believe it's different for everybody. These are just my experiences, and they're all that I can speak of. I'm sure everybody has different experiences, so go check out some other psychic mediums and kind of, I mean, I do it all the time. I love to hear other people's stories, and just be inspired by other people. But I have seen, you know how many spirits are attached to one person? There is so many spirits around, and sometimes like there are just spirits that are appreciating Earth from another realm. Either they died really suddenly, they died really young, and sometimes they have the full capability of passing over. However, they want to stick around and experience this Earth. They're not done on Earth yet, but they just want to experience it from the level that they're at, and they're completely content. I'm going to tell you about a soul friend, a spirit friend, Craig. I love talking about him. He has given me permission. He is one of the first spirits that I've ever encountered when I moved to where I'm at now a few years ago. He is an absolutely wonderful soul. He is a man who died in his like late 20s, early 30s. His name is Craig. He has these piercing blue eyes, this dark hair, and he loved motorcycles. He passed in a motorcycle accident around where I live. And he was a little bit, when I had first seen his spirit, and this was when I was really opening up these abilities, when I'd first seen his spirit, he just kept repeating, I used to have such beautiful teeth. I used to have such beautiful teeth. And I would listen to him and try and connect to him, but I didn't really understand where to go about that. And I have to thank my wife for this, because we were in the car and I was telling her about him, and I said, his energy is so beautiful, but I feel like I don't know what he needs from me. And my wife was like, he's passed on. Why don't you just tell him he could have whatever kind of teeth he wants? He's free. He's not on the earthly plane anymore. Like, he is, but he's not in the physical restricting body. And I was like, so then I ended up, it took me like another week for him to really show himself again. And the next time I saw him, I asked to connect to his energy. I reached out and he reached back out. And I tried to explain, and it's so weird to explain any of this, but I kind of tried to explain, I'm so sorry this happened to you. He kind of showed me his story as I was going through it, which was a whole other story. And then after telling him that, it's like the loop had stopped. And the next time I saw him, he was just appreciating things. And I asked him if he had needed help moving on, and he said he's not done here. And I said, okay, as long as you're good. And now every time there's a new motorcycle that comes in the around the complex or around where I live, he always says hi, and he's just standing by it, and he'll nod. He does a head nod. And he is one of the most gentle and loving souls, and he genuinely just loves experiencing this earth. He's not ready to leave, and he loves seeing motorcycles. If there's a motorcycle going by, it's almost like he manifests, or he like shows himself, and he just like, he's still so excited by it. And I just think that's absolutely wonderful. And so the thing also about moving on souls is, because this is another question I've gotten, just kind of a talk right now, how are you connected to your past incarnations? Are they your full soul? Are they a piece of your soul? So your soul is so infinite, we don't even know all that we are. So your past incarnations, you have a higher self, right? And all of our past lives and things are breaks off of pieces of consciousness. So you are infinite in every piece of your soul, but you are literally breaking off your consciousness to incarnate on earth and experience life as all these different beings, like I was talking about earlier. And it doesn't mean that you're any less complete and full when you are in an incarnation. However, when you pass on, a piece of that past incarnation still stays. And I have had pieces of my past incarnation. Though I am them, I'm a piece of them. Who I am now is also a different version of that soul, of me. So I see people's past incarnations manifest as a spirit, helping to guide them. My own past incarnations, I will see in spirit form, helping to guide me. So it's really, really beautiful, and it's so complex and hard to explain. You are infinite, and there are pieces of you, different versions of you, past incarnations of you that are your spirit guides. Like, we have no idea how many souls are standing behind us, assisting us in what we're doing right now, this whatever mission or reason we chose to incarnate. So there's so much love around you that a lot of us don't even realize. And that's honestly the most beautiful part, I think, about what I do, and about like seeing these things, and about what we all incarnating down here in general. It's ballsy, it's hard, and we have so much support because it is really hard. So if you ever feel alone, just remember there is hundreds of spirits rooting you on, whether they're ancestors, past incarnations, people that you've been, ancestors, loved ones who have passed, spirit guides, whatever it is, there is so much out there. Okay, so those are all of the main questions that I've gotten recently. I'm sorry, I just like talked your ear off. If you have any other questions, put them down below because I love answering them. And if I am unsure of something, I will try and experience it and give you my story about what I kind of found or experienced. So please let me know. I love talking about this. I think I'm glad that more people are talking about this. And, you know, I find that there were so many people online who were brave and spoke out about what they do and who they are, and it helped me be here and not hate part of myself. So if I could do that for somebody else, or just like make it less taboo or crazy, then I am grateful to be here. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will try and be better at posting on here. And I hope you have the world's most wonderful day, the best day you've had all day. Okay, bye.